Okay, so I made a really lengthy tier list. It was like almost 2 hours long. And what I want to do is make a second video by someone's request that's just like the highlights. The highlights, I go through every character very quickly. I'm not very good at this because I go on tangents a lot, but let's just see how I do. Quick disclaimers. Let's see if I can do these disclaimers really quick. Again, this video is for people who aren't like overly competitive. It's for people who are trying to get into that mode, into that scene. It's like you start off playing, you know, like free-for-alls with your friends with a lot of items on, and maybe just recently you're thinking about going to the 1v1s with no items, and maybe play some competitive maps, but, you know, it's not super important. Now, so this is for you. If you're brand new, feel free to ask any questions in the comment section. I really do want to answer those, and if it's actually relevant enough, I'll post them in the description, the question and my answers to them. Those would be really helpful for everyone, I think. So I'm not shying away from going over basics, but since I'm going very fast, I might miss out on like some terminology that some people won't understand. So getting right into it, at the very top we have King K. Rool because of the fact that he is really abusive with certain moves. He's got the crown attack that you can spam a lot. Other moves you can't spam as much as that. But there's the only moves that you really have to worry about is like normally for any character you can't just throw smash attacks, right? And I gotta go quickly, right? But you can't throw smash attacks all the time because you can get punished for missing those. But his down smash is very good. Get used to using that correctly. And his aerials will be something you gotta start learning how to time because they're not as easy as like Ike's per se. But he's up there because he's just really abusive and he's got an amazing recovery. So you can play him and you can go off the map and not be too worried about getting back on. It's like that's like a learning curve for a lot of people trying to get into the competitive scene. You have to be able to jump off the map and fight someone without a floor beneath you, you know? But with King K. Rool, you can kind of do whatever you want and not mess up. So, you know, we're going to keep that sort of thinking as we go on. They have to be easy, but at the same time, you have to be able to invest a little bit of your time into them and get good rewards from playing them. And that's like the theme of this. So, you know, there's going to be a lot of people in the competitive scene that are going to say King K. Rool is no good. But here King K. Rool is king. Absolutely, he's king. Ike is similar in that he's really easy. He doesn't have that prowess off the stage, but because of his range, he's got a big sword. When you go off the stage, you can do a big swing that the enemy's going to have a hard time of getting out of the way of, since they're trying to get back on, you know where they're more or less going to be ending up. Now, as far as like being on the stage and everything else goes, he's got some of the easiest combos to pull off. I don't expect people to pull off the crazy combos that a lot of the characters are capable of doing. But Ike, the thing about Ike is that when you hit somebody, they get hit so hard most of the time that you can actually see the pain that it brings to your enemies. And you can see how they bounce, sometimes off the floor, off a wall. And you can, you know, like you hit him, he gets knocked off the floor, off the wall, and you jump up and like finish the job with another swing. He does that a lot. And, you know, 2 swings could easily do like 20% damage on your people, on your enemy combatants. And he's got really good aerial attacks. The neutral A, the forward A, the up A when he's in the air are all amazing. I actually kill off the up A a lot. So he's really good to get into. I fully advocate him. In fact, I had him up at the very top here, and that was even before he started winning tournaments, or the one big tournament that happened really recently. Ridley is just super easy. He's just super easy. That's really what it comes down to. You can't just throw your fireballs whenever you want, but you'll get used to when they actually work. Stick to neutral air, uses jab a lot. He's, you know, I wish he would be buffed a little bit, but he's just so solid, and all of my, like, really beginner friends who end up playing this game, they pick him up and they actually become a nuisance with Ridley. The Marth clones are all very similar, especially if you're like kind of new to the game. They have similar move sets. They all have a pretty deep, they all have a sword, but keep in mind with Marth and Roy specifically, well, again, most of the people I'm trying to talk to already know this, but Marth and Roy specifically, they have sweet spots and sour spots on their sword. Whereas the other two, when they slash, doesn't matter at what point you hit the enemy with the sword, it just does the damage that it's supposed to do at any part. So when it comes to Marth Clones, you might end up finding one that you like more than the other, and then you may end up just, if you really like the Marth Clones so much, maybe use Roy in some matchups and then use Marth in other matchups. But I would just play around with them a little bit. But for starters, go with Lucina. I would say go with Lucina first. Let me move on. I gotta do this as fast as possible. This is like, it's kind of like a bet I'm kind of doing. Okay, Wolf. This section, I didn't really explain the tiers, but again, the best ones are at the top. The worst ones are at the bottom. But it's not that the bottom ones are bad. It's more like it's about investing your time, especially when you can't play hours to no end. If you're going to end up being like someone who goes to your friend's house because they have the game and that's when you're going to be able to play it, so you're not always there all the time. Or if you have the game yourself, but you know you're busy with work and you can only play so much. The guys at the bottom, you just have to spend way too much time in order to play them right. That's like part of it. That's part of it. The other part is, I'll get to that, but it's like, how good is it to use these characters with your friends? Those are like questions to answer. Now, the personal choices are, they're unique in that they're a little harder to pull off, but there's little quick things you have to learn with them, and you'll do good with them. So like Wolf, for example, Wolf, he's, the thing about Wolf is, he's not super stellar at anything. He's not, you can't be overly aggressive with Wolf, and I do this a lot. I say the bad things about them first. But the thing about Wolf is he's got a very oppressive projectile weapon. You can be really campy with the projectile weapon, and he's also really good at like counterplay. They kind of attack you, and then you dodge, and then you attack back. He's got a really good dash attack. He's got a really good neutral air that actually can combo like vice versa into itself. So he's kind of got like some really easy combos, kind of like how Ike does. So as a newcomer or someone who's trying to, again, play better, do more damage, have better follow-ups, Wolf is good at that, and then he has the projectiles, and projectiles are really good in this game. So spend a little time with him and you'll do really good. Same thing kind of going on with Link. Link's a little bit tougher, but he does have a sword, so that kind of like balance that aspect out and puts them kind of like side by side on this tier list. And yes, I kind of ordered them a little bit. Like, I think that like Donkey Kong is better than like Inkling for the players that I'm trying to speak to right now. That's in the good section if you don't see that right away. Now, I was talking about Link. You can be really impressive with the bombs. That's really what it is. Get used to using the bombs and get used to everything else. Don't forget his neutral air comes out really quick. You might want to learn how to fast fall so that you can pump that out really at a good pace and at the right time, I suppose. But sometimes you can just spam it and it does really good. But let me move on. Lucas, and Ness. Ness is somewhere on this list, right? The thing about Lucas is once you go off the stage, it's scary to get back on with his Pika Thunder move. If you don't know, again, you should know this, but you go off the stage, you use his up special and control the lightning to hit him in the butt, which sends him up. It's awesome. But that move is also extremely good at stopping enemies from coming back on the field. If you push people off with Lucas and then send the Pika Thunder out, a lot of the times you're going to just block them. You're going to wall them up from coming on back on the stage, and it's really annoying to deal with Lucas. So if you learn a little bit about Lucas's movement, his double jump, his up special to recover back onto the field, he actually has ways to deal with projectiles himself, and then he can dish out the projectiles too. And his moves in general aren't to be laughed at. His range is a little bad, but like the way his attacks are, like the priority of it, or etc. I'm not going to go into the details of that. He makes him really solid. He's really solid. It's worth putting your time into. Fox is very easy to combo with. Really easy to combo with. As good as Ike and Wolf when it comes to the combo game, maybe even easier than them, because he's so fast he can kind of like capitalize on people, and then he can just start the combos up. But the problem with Fox, the reason why he's like the worst out of kind of like everybody here, the Marth clones are kind of like their own thing. You're gonna have to practice them and see how you feel about them. But as far as, you know, Ike, Ridley, King K. Rool, Wolf, Link, and Lucas goes, Wolf is the lowest because he's just very light, you know? I think he's as light as Lucas, maybe actually heavier, but the benefits of Wolf, they really don't, they're good. Again, he's really up on the list, but that light thing is it kind of weirdly reacts to everything else in my mind. You'll see how it is with Fox, but again, he can really get in there, and yeah, he's got a good kit. He's really good. Moving on, the good section and the surprisingly decent section. So the thing about this is, man, I'm slowing down. I gotta speed it up. I'm gonna draw some comparisons as I go through the characters, and you'll start pinpointing why the surprisingly decent is like not as good as the good people. But again, I think I said this, but anything from hard and up, you can spend your time on them and you'll get rewarded for it. So Cloud, he's got a big sword. If you spam his forward B and his up B, you can wall a lot of your enemies out. His projectiles, like, okay. His only problem is, like, getting back on the stage can be kind of rough, and I go into a little bit more detail of that in my other video. Not a lot, but it's just not great. Okay, it's just not great. So as far as Cloud is concerned, he's definitely one of the best up here. He'd be up at the very top, like nearly near the top, at least in my personal section if his recovery was better. But there's nothing wrong with playing Cloud. That's okay. Cloud's fine. But, you know, once I look at this, just for the sake of people trying to be comfortable going off the map and stuff like that, I might have to rate him a little lower. I think I'm going to do this. I know that was really minor, but the thing is, like, everything here is, like, to me, it's nearly perfect. So just those little minor changes make a lot of difference to me personally. Okay, so let me start. Well, I already went over Cloud. Cloud's done. He's good. Ganondorf, there's moves you don't want to use, but he's just a lot of fun. He's got his special moves that are like derivative of Captain Falcon's move. He kind of has like the the Falcon punch, you know. But yeah, no, actually, I have nothing really negative to say. He's got some really slow moves, so you should avoid those. And as long as you do that, and only use them, you know, when you want to, when you think it's right, when you're okay with messing up here and there, and then learning from those mistakes. He's got a really good forward tilt and a bottom and a down tilt. You should spam those quite a bit because they do a lot of damage. And then the thing about his special moves is that his forward special, his forward special, even his up special in some instances, they'll grab onto people who are shielding. And that's awesome because Ganondorf scares people into shielding a lot, okay? So if you start making people fearful and you condition them to bring up your shield, you can start using, you know, you can throw in the other moves, and that makes him really good. He's also pretty heavy. And the thing about heavy characters, I want to point this out, is that yes, they're easier to combo them. It's easier for them to get comboed by their enemies, but the thing is, the people that you're, you know, again, the people who I'm talking to, they generally don't deal with people who are like that. You know, they're not going to end up having, they're not going to just do that. You know what I mean? I'll leave it at that. And that's why, like, Donkey Kong's kind of like near Ganon. He's heavy. He can take a hit. He can hit way harder than most people. And the reason why Donkey Kong's even higher to me, I know that professionals are rating him really highly, but I personally feel like I have a different reason. I definitely have a different reason. Let me tell you what it is. The reason why he's so up there is because the resources to play him well are readily available by watching like this one professional player. If you watch him, you will see and you will learn what not to do and what to do with DK. And I think that speaks measures. I think that's just amazing. I think that's a great tool for DK players, for people who are new. I'm gonna link a video of him playing DK. You can go ahead and watch the whole thing, but if you just watch the way he gets the first kill, Like the things that he does is just amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So he has all the tools you need to play really well. And for some weird reason, I'd put it this way: it's like his Smash fundamentals are different from learning the fundamentals like overall. It just, he does like his own thing sometimes, and it's pretty cool. Rob is, there's some moves that you don't want to use on him, and like people can like combo him and get on him, but when he breaks out of combos, he does like a ton of damage back. He's got projectiles. He comes back on the stage really easily, and it's just like there's certain moves you want to avoid because like the timing on that's weird, but you'll learn those, stick to the easier moves, and you'll do really well with Rob. He's just insane. He's also super heavy. That's another great thing about him. He'll live to very high damage. Now Samus has moved up the list little by little, and it's because Samus is in a weird spot for me. It's like a lot of bias, but I think I've removed all the bias and put Samus in like the right spot now. The thing about Samus right now is that the projectiles. Really, it's the projectiles. Everything else I'm kind of meh on, and just I'm not really feeling it. I wish Samus was better. I thought Samus was better in the past, and then when Dark Samus came out, I thought maybe she might end up being good again. Yes, Samus is a she if you didn't know. Yeah, I don't know. But, you know, you can't really say no to the projectiles. It's just so strong against a lot of enemies, and, you know, you can bait out rolls with other moves and then shoot them and get really easy kills. Maybe Samus should be even higher. I don't know. I think Samus is in a really good spot right there. I think it's in a really good spot. I think the reason why she's not higher is because, like, you investing time in Samus it's not going to make much of a difference, really. It isn't. Pikachu, it will make a difference if you spend time with Pikachu, and he's got some easy, like, 2-hit combos. Like, if you use his twirling electrical attack in the air, his forward air, his fair, it can, like, combo into down smash if you, like, drag people down. Same thing kind of like with his neutral air, and you know, he racks up a little damage here and there from like his B move. He's a little on the light side, but he recovers really well too, so he's really good. He's really solid. If you learn Pikachu, then you're gonna end up learning a lot. Pikachu's really solid. And I guess I'll mention Pichu right now. Pichu's at, you know, kind of like the bottom of the list. In fact, I think I'm gonna put him in the no section. Like, don't play Pichu if you're new to the game. The reason why he's rated really highly is because of some good combos and the way that he can like get people off this, like stop people from getting back on the stage. But you need a level of finesse that it's just not worth his weight. Like his weight, he's like the lightest in the game, and then he hurts himself when he does attack. So if you're new to the game, you might get caught by a smash attack from certain people when you're like at 60 damage. Where like 15% of that was you doing that to yourself, and then you're dead. You're dead super early. That's not a good feeling. Yoshi's awesome, and I was comparing Yoshi to Wario a little bit. I know it's a little weird, but the thing about I'll talk about these other characters later. I'm sorry. I gotta try to do some comparisons here within the good and the surprisingly decent. I said I was gonna do that. We'll see if I can do that. Yoshi has some really strong. Okay, he's kind of like Dr. Mario in the sense that like they have really good aerials that have bigger hitboxes than you think they do. But I think Yoshi does a little bit more damage, and on top of that, Yoshi's second jump is awesome. Like his recovery is really good, and he's got his own projectile move that you get used to. I think Yoshi, to a lot of people who've played the game a lot, find Yoshi awkward, but for newcomers who don't have like the second jump bias, I'll call it, Yoshi is really, really solid. Every single hit from Yoshi does good damage, I would say, and his neutral air is really good. He does have some combo potential that's not that hard to pull off. So I would say that Yoshi's just a really solid pick, just from kind of like the Ike-ism. Kind of like the Ike thing. Of course, he doesn't have the sword, which obviously brings him way down, but he gets on the board really good. And as far as like the Ike-ism specifically, what I meant was like he has some easy combos that you can link together. Not super easy, but it's there. It's definitely there. And that's the thing about Mewtwo as well. Mewtwo, he has that second jump thing going on. That's not why they're next to each other. They're next to each other because Mewtwo has like the 2-hit combos that are easily accomplished. Like the same things that Pikachu can do. You know what? I think that Yoshi's a little bit on the harder side. It's just because there is less of them, whereas Mewtwo does a little bit faster. Mewtwo does have the projectile, though. I think the three of them are very close to each other in a way that their combo game is not too hard. It does kind of exist. Their recoveries are good, and yeah, that's it. That's really what it is. They really are kind of close to each other, to be honest. Now, Inkling has a lot of shenanigans that the pros are using that like beginners are not going to be able to use at all. But if you want to play Inkling and you really invest your time on Inkling, you're going to get amazing rewards for playing that character. You should stick to using jab. Just jab a lot. You know, that does a lot of damage because of the ink mechanic in this game. When you put your when you make your enemies colorful, basically, they'll take more damage from your attacks and I think more knockback as well. So use the jab attack that'll put the ink on them, and it does a ton of damage. Inkling has good recovery, and I don't know. I didn't play Splatoons, the games that Inkling's from, but the Inklings can use their roller attack, put people into the ground who have high damage and keep them there for a little while, and then just finish the job off. So with the jab and the roller move and the good recovery, they're really solid. They're just a little tough in the air, and a lot of the characters, like with swords and stuff like that, they're gonna feel really oppressive. They're gonna feel really oppressive until you get like spacing correctly. I could say Inkling's above these three, maybe, but it really comes down to you playing Inkling and being okay with the beginning learning curve of her. So this is a tough call. I can't make that call for you, but you could very well put Inkling here or put Inkling here. I'm gonna put Inkling here for now, and then like somewhere along the way, I'm gonna bump it back. Palutena is funny because like I wasn't sure where to rate her on the good section at all. She has an amazing neutral air that you have to get used to, and it's just one move you got to get used to. You got to learn the neutral air, and it's because it combos with more attacks, even with more neutral air sometimes. So you have to learn how to fast fall and short hop, which isn't something that's very hard to do, but I know that even some of the 1v1 players that I know, they don't know how to do that to the best of their abilities yet, but it's really not a hard thing to do. You have to spend a little bit of time on that, which could bring her down to the surprisingly decent, like the very top of surprisingly decent. But I think this is like one of the very few exceptions I would make. Palutena is really, really good, and I just really think okay, let me look at her entire kit. She's got the teleport. She can get past like the Lucas shenanigans. She has just all around okay moves. They're all good. Her special moves, the Fire Blast and the regular B move, once you get the timing on the Fire Blast, you'll get it at the right moments and it'll give you kills. Whereas the B move is very easily spammable. There's sometimes you don't want to use it. Also, she can reflect projectiles back. That's why she's in the good section. And Corrin doesn't have that sort of kit. Her specials are a lot weaker. She has a projectile attack, but it's super slow. And I find the bite thing that she does is actually more useful than it, more often than not. I think Corrin is really good because she has a sword and she has really solid wide attacks when she's in the air. She just swings these swords around, and or her dragon-like claws and stuff. She's really solid. I just don't see the potential in her like I do in all the other characters. In fact, I see more potential in like Mega Man, and I'd say let's just stick to Mega Man. Let's just stick to there. Or Shulk. You know, I know everyone thinks that Shulk has crazy potential, so I can say that. I think that Corrin doesn't have like the potential that other characters do, but you know, it's there. It's there. Here, I'll give you one more example. She doesn't combo off her arrows like Ike does, right? She doesn't combo like that, but she can at specific percentages for certain certain characters will be at certain percentages and then you'll combo. It's not a beginner can't see the combos happening until they've played Corrin like a good amount, and that's why Corrin's here. But again, she has the sword, she has the range, and if you feel so determined, you can make Corrin work. And that's why Corrin's here. Now, I gotta move on. I'm slowing down. And you know, it's this whole Corrin thing, and she's just a really hard one to rate. Normally what I do for these characters that's really hard to rate, I actually just leave them over here. And that's where I'm going to leave her for right now, because she kind of does skew the idea of the tier list a little bit. She almost doesn't belong on the type of tier list I made. You know how I had to make these certain sections for certain characters. It's just how it is. Bowser, I might as well go over Bowser right now. Bowser's just someone I have too much bias on. I want him to be super good. And yes, I can put him on like the personal section. But he does have some faults. Definitely has some faults. But I'm going to try to make him as best as I can. Like right now, you can put him anywhere between like personal all the way down to fun. But I think he belongs in like maybe the very bottom. He belongs probably at the bottom of surprisingly decent. But I don't even want to say that because like I want to be as like truthful with these characters as possible, and that's why like Diddy Kong's and not applicable, because I don't have the information for you guys on that. So sorry about some of these characters, you know. But I think there's enough here for a lot of people to pull from. So Incineroar is really solid. Incineroar is really fun. The only thing you have to worry about is kind of like his recovery, but once you start playing Incineroar and you actually like get really high and then use his uppy from like really high up, you'll realize that Incineroar's recovery is not the worst thing. Okay, it's okay. And then everything else is like good. Similar to, who was it that I said that the aerials, you gotta work on the timing? Like King K. Rool's aerials, like you have, you know, a level of precision. Except, of course, with the neutral airs. The neutral airs are really easy to hit and to pull out and stuff like that. But all those aerial attacks you kind of get used to, but they're strong. You know, they're really strong. And then his side B move is really fun. So you'll start throwing those out, and you'll end up doing pretty good. He's a lot of fun. He's a lot of fun, and he does a lot of damage, and he can tank hits too. So he's surprisingly decent. Sonic is like the one character. Kind of like outside of DK, but this one's just a little bit different. You need to spend a little time in like practice mode with Sonic. Just spend like 20 minutes, okay? Just 20 minutes. Figure out what all his special moves do, because I get it. He spins in a ball and he goes and he attacks people, but you know, all of his spin moves are slightly different in the way that they kind of like start up and everything. And then you want to know how you can combo off of hitting your spin move. So he's got some combos that you do have to learn, but the ones I have in mind, they're not that hard. So you should be hitting 2-hit combos with Sonic, and you need to learn his special moves first. Once you learn those moves, he's easily at least, he's up here with like Pikachu, Yoshi, and Mewtwo, for sure. He's definitely up there, but you have to spend a little bit more time to figure out how all these moves work. So I'd say do it, you know? I'd say do it, but... Okay, this is a moment where I'm going to bring down Inkling here. You know what I mean? Again, Inkling's like above them, below them because of you. You know what I mean? But how you feel about these 4 characters. I could even make like another section here, but I don't have the time for that. Mega Man. Alright, Mega Man. So Mega Man is a little bit on the harder side of things. He has his forward smash. His forward smash hits hard and is fun and has good range on it. It's not like Simon Belmont's, honestly, but he's got really good tools, and if you invest your time on him, he's really good. I think he's a little too hard for me to put in like the good section, personally, and that's pretty much it. His aerials are good. His back air might have a little bit of ending lag, but it's still like okay. And yeah, he's really solid. He's got little projectile attacks that can be a little annoying here and there for the enemy, of course, for the enemy. And I think he deserves to be around this area. I think these 3 I might have a little issue with. Again, Sonic's really easy to like place higher up here. But the thing about these 3 areas is, you know, we're getting into like the more difficult characters to play. Whereas like Simon, you can get punished for later. Here, let me talk about Simon real quick. In fact, I might bring Simon up here again. It's more like your personality and how your preferences. So the thing with Simon is he also has a really great forward smash. He's got good aerials that you kind of have to learn how to angle them right. You're gonna mess up on them a little bit, and you're gonna get annoyed at yourself for messing up. And that's why like Mega Man might be above him, but He's got his axe attack you'll use every once in a while, and you're gonna do amazing with it. His boomerang isn't as strong as you'd think it is, but the down B is really solid. The down B is really solid because it gets them stuck in a flame, and then you can follow up with that attack easily with a dash attack, sometimes with a smash attack or some aerials. So he's really solid, but his recovery is not that great, and then when people get on him, it can be a little difficult, but his down tilt's really cool. He's good. He's really solid. He can be really abusive. Just, you need to avoid using certain moves with him, and you gotta, or avoid them until you, like, learn them yourself. Same thing with Mega Man. These two, like, are really close to each other, but I'd say Simon, kind of like right off the gate, you'll get better results with Simon. And that's why I guess Simon would be a little higher than Mega Man, right? But then I think Mega Man has higher potential, so again, they're very close to each other. Robin is just really, really intimidating off the start. I said it before, you use his dash attack and you're gonna feel lame as heck when you do the dash attack from Robin. And then you're gonna miss his forward air a lot with the sword, but then, you realize stuff like, wait a minute, why don't I just freaking use my neutral air? My neutral air hits like this, almost like the same hitbox as my forward air. Maybe it's a little slower and stuff, but like, it's really good. If you learn the timing on that, it's solid. He's got a lot of like, his down B and stuff like that's gonna feel confusing and useless to you, but stick to the moves that work with Robin, and you'll do really well. Like, you're gonna do really well with Robin once you do that. Yeah, there's other things about Robin, but I can't get into them. I'm gonna say that a lot. I'm gonna be saying that a lot. I think, am I almost done? I gotta be almost done, man, because this video is already way longer than it's supposed to be. Dang it. I tried, okay? I tried my best. Dr. Mario, really larger hitboxes than you'd think. The pill can add in a little extra damage here and there. He can up B out of shield sometimes. He's just solid. I think he's just an all-around great player, great character to play as. Shulk, the Monado arts, you're going to trip up on a little bit. I wish they were a little bit more accessible to people. You activate the Monado arts that you want to use to, like, deal some damage or add some knockback to your enemy. The thing is, like, your enemy is going to avoid you, and you're not going to deal the damage for the amount of time. You're not going to deal the damage in the time that you have to do the things that you want to do. So it's like, it feels useless to especially to like beginner players. It's not great. It's not great. But he's got a sword, and he's got the range, so that makes him okay. I just think that Shulk needs some changes if the beginners want to play him. As far as the pros are concerned, I don't think they care about these sort of changes that I have in mind. But that's for maybe another video, or I don't know, for a discussion with a friend. Maybe it'll be on my stream that I'll talk about Shulk a little bit. Now, Jigglepuff is interesting. See, you play Jigglypuff a little bit differently. You stay in the air more often than not with Jigglypuff. And it's so good to like weave in and out of like enemy range with your, with your aerial movement. It's awesome. The reason why she's at the very bottom of the list is it's two things. She's very light, and I guess it actually kind of is in line with the light thing. You kind of need to know what the enemy actually does, like what kind of attacks the enemy has the ability to throw out, because you can air dodge moves when you're in the air, but you can't guard moves. You have to know when you're going to weave in and out in the air, because you got to know what's coming at you. You got to know what's coming at you, you're going to die. And if you do end up attacking into somebody, especially the person with the sword, you're going to be the one who gets hit. So you gotta know what the enemies are going to be throwing at you, and that takes a little bit of time if you don't already know what they are. But if you've played the game for a little bit and you can weave in and out of attacks, Jigglypuff is actually pretty good. Now, the hard category. This category didn't exist at first, and I tried to order them. Peach is obviously getting really good results at tournaments right now, but the thing about Peach is that you have to first of all, to get the combo game right, you need to spend a lot of time. That they're not, or you just have to be that talented, right? At the get-go, you need to spend time. If you are gonna just do single hits here and there, at the very least, you got to learn how to use the glide move. I mean, it's not super hard, but you gotta get used to using it. It's just so different from like all the other characters. And because she's like that, she's like at the top of surprisingly decent normally, but she has such a good like, she has such good potential that we see from the competitive players that like, she's great, you know. In fact, yeah, no, I think she's in the right spot. I think she belongs somewhere around there for you. If again, if you can play her to the extent that the pros do, then she's obviously like #1 on your list. But I think that for beginners, I think she's around there who are willing to spend the time on her. But let me put her back down here because that's where she really does belong, in the hard section. Snake. I'm gonna post a fun video of Snake. He just gets this awesome kill. I thought it was amazing. And this character, I mean this person, MVD is his username. He has shown us a lot of Snake's potential. Kind of like DK, but the thing is DK is a lot easier to pull off than Snake, that's for sure. So he's kind of like in the middle of surprisingly decent. He's like kind of like over here, I'd say, if you want to pick him up. He's just that hard, but again, he can be a lot of fun and people like Snake, so I can imagine he could be like, again, it depends on you personally. That's why they have this own section. Same thing with Ness. Ness has some crazy combos he can pull off in the air. His range is a little lacking, and I mean he has the PK Fire that combos into PK Fire, but that's like one little thing. That's like one of the things he can do very easily, but the combos he has in the air are all kind of hard, and you have to get used to going off the field and trying to down A people to finish the job sometimes. But you know, he's got some kill moves normally, so he's good. He's really good. In fact, I think I would put him at the very top of hard because he's not as hard as the others, and he also pays very good dividends. So I think that's where he belongs. Pokemon Trainer, I don't think Pokemon Trainer has the results that Peach and I guess Snake too. It's very close. I think Snake and Pokemon Trainer are really close to each other, but the thing is that with Pokemon Trainer, you got to learn 3 characters. You know, you got to learn Squirtle, Ivysaur, and Charizard. So that's a lot. That's a lot to learn. But it's so fun. It can be so fun to have like one Pokemon that you just really like and you stick to that Pokemon, and it ends up being a gateway into learning Pokemon Trainer as a whole. So I think Pokemon Trainer is very good and deserves to be recognized, you know? I could even like put these up here because of the fact that like, again, you can really go above and beyond with these characters. Maybe, you know what, this section was originally made because of Falco and Young Link, and they're the reason why they were down here. The thing with Falco and Young Link is that they're not proven to be as great, especially for people who are just like getting onto the scene. Falco has some crazy combos you can do, but they're pretty hard to pull off, and his run speed is so slow, it's hard for him to capitalize. Like if an enemy does something stupid on the other side of the field, you have to, you know, you're kind of running over there trying to catch up to them, but they've already landed and they're ready to fight you. So he's a little too difficult for the rewards. I'd say he's not as difficult as some of the people I'm going to be going into down here in the fun section, and that's, you know, that's the reason why like Zero Suit Samus is down here. That's why Greninja is down here, is because they're too hard. They require too much precision. Falco isn't like that. It shouldn't be too hard to do the 2-hit combos, but those 2-hit combos aren't the same ones that you're going to be getting from like Ike per se. And again, he doesn't have the range of Ike, and he doesn't have the run speed, and etc. Like all that stuff kind of like adds up. And he's easily, very, very easily at the bottom of surprisingly decent, and, you know, kind of deserves to be in this section because of the fact that you need to spend the time to play Falco. But his rewards are not going to be as high as like these other 4 characters, so keep that in mind. Young Link is similar to Falco, but not because of his combo game as far as like standard hits goes. He has like follow up with this fire arrow that's kind of hard to pull off, but just in general, he's got projectiles like Falco, but he's got projectiles, right? Plural. So it makes him a little bit better, but you still have to have a decent amount of finesse and like a decent amount of like prediction to play Young Link correctly. But if you know, I would feel him out. A lot of professional players are rating him decently high. Not as high as Peach, and probably not as high as Snake. But he's really good. He is really good. I actually got clobbered by like one of my newbie friends on a certain stock that everyone just loves to remember right now. So he's really good. I think you can pull off some stuff with him, and he deserves to be in this section because he doesn't string those moves together easily. But his single hits can be pretty decent. They're just not like, okay, how do I put it in a better perspective? His forward A doesn't have like the width of like Ike moves. And I know I keep comparing with Ike, but it's just really easy to do that, you know? And the timing on it, you have to learn it. I guess it's not that hard, but again, this hard section and especially the personal section, you have to play them for yourself and see if they just match your personality or match your preferences. That's basically what it is. I think I said enough about Young Link. Okay, so the Zelda section, I will go over Zelda real quick, and then I'll explain why Luigi's there. But the thing about Zelda is that she, I want her to be good. I want her to be good. It's kind of like Bowser, but the thing is, like, I think Bowser actually does have, like, the results that I actually kind of want, whereas Zelda doesn't. She has the like sour spots on her moves in the air, and your neutral air is not really good enough. I want her to be buffed, and she does have some cool stuff, but it's not good enough. She's not good enough. She's in the fun section, really, but she does have some really good tools that kind of like shine a little bit more than what like Ken and Ryu can do. Okay? So that's why she has her own section, but you can kind of ignore that if you want to and put her in the fun section. And then I looked at Luigi and I was like, okay, Luigi has that like awkward jump, but he's got his up B, and we've seen some crazy combos that the pros do. Again, I don't expect the people I'm trying to talk to pull off the Luigi stuff, but Luigi can end up doing the 2-hit combos pretty easily. His tether grab is kind of like the startup for those things, and his tether grab's actually pretty decent. He's got a fireball, and he doesn't come up from the stage as easily as other people do, but he does jump pretty high. He's good, but I wouldn't really invest my time into him unless he just speaks to you right off the bat. Kind of like Young Link, and that's why they're like so close to each other in theory on this list. If you can map out my brain through this, you'll understand where I'm coming from on Luigi. Okay, so the fun section, I'll briefly... I'm almost done. I'm actually almost done because these guys don't really deserve a lot of talk. And I'm sorry if you like these characters. I mean, I love Little Mac. He's awesome. But projectiles. Projectiles own Little Mac more often than not. And I know he's really bad off stage and has really bad aerials. Those are all very true as well. He can kind of handle that and sometimes surprise people, but you kind of need really good instincts to play Little Mac. You got to be able to counter when you got to counter, and yeah, I'm sorry. But he's at the top of fun, so, you know, he got that at least. Ken and Ryu, I think, are fun for sure. You know, that's the theme of this like section, right, of this tier list. But I think they don't have that combo game that is easy to pull off. They really don't. They don't have the combo game. They don't have the range that other characters have. It's nice that they have a little projectile that does trip up some enemies here and there, literally. And they can up B out a shield, and that's really cool too. So they're solid. I think their up Bs will kill like a Link at like 125 damage. So that's pretty solid on some maps, you know. So yeah, they're good. They're just not worth your time. They're not worth your time. Those combos that I'm talking about aren't like Luigi level combos. So yeah, I'm sorry guys. Samus requires way too much precision. That's really what it comes down to. Way too much precision. Same thing with Greninja, and even with Meta Knight, it's kind of similar too. It's not. They are different. In Meta Knight, you can play off the stage a little bit, which is why actually I want Meta Knight up here, but he doesn't have like the range. He has such a short sword for me to say that he goes off the stage and is completely abusive. But he does it, and he has a really fun side B. So I think he is actually above Greninja and Zero Suit Samus. But all right, let's go further into the down. The Duck Hunt. I love Duck Hunt. Duck Hunt's fun. It's a dog with a bird, and like the can is like, you need maybe look up a video. You kind of hide behind the can a little bit. If you're not using his strongest tool, which is his can, then like you're gonna get owned. I'm sorry, you're gonna get owned. But if you know what, the footage is out there, and that's why I think Duck Hunt is up here. But he's still only in the fun category. He's not gonna win. He's not winning tournaments. But he's good, sort of. He's fun. Anyone down here, you can again just play them and have some fun. Bowser Jr. He's got really fun aerial attacks. His down B is, if you use it right, it can be really annoying to a lot of enemies. The cannonball has its moments. You know, he can recover. He's good. He's okay. I know I'm saying good. It's just the word "good's" just stuck in my head. I should just say fun, right? He's fun. He's fun. I've been saying good so much with all these characters up here. It's like rubbing off on these ones, and that's not what's supposed to happen. King DDD. King DDD is here because he is heavy. That is the reason why he is here. That's basically what it is. He can take hits. As far as everything else is concerned, I'm sorry, he's not that great. Bayonetta's super flashy. The combo-y front air attack and the forward tilt and the front smash, they're all interesting, fun to use, but she's not that great. She requires real finesse when you're you know what? A little buff. Yeah, here we go. I think she belongs here. Maybe like right here. Yeah, I think this is the right spot. I'm sorry. Maybe I should have given Bayonetta a little bit more love, and I just did that, but really, the difference between these things is not very high. Unless you care about that character so much, and in that aspect, I understand. Lucario, wow, Lucario's not supposed to be at the bottom of this. In fact, Lucario's up. Lucario's actually up here. Lucario is probably getting less and less attention. I think the professionals thought he was going to be really good and then realized he's not that great. But he requires that sort of precision that the others do, but he has a really good projectile, and then he has like that comeback mechanic with the aura. He comes back onto the stage fairly well. So he has some tools, and he can definitely do really good. Maybe I'd even put him up here. Maybe at the very top. He's not bad at all. He is not bad at all, but he's not going to be rewarding enough for me to put in the hard or surprisingly decent area. Captain Falcon. Captain Falcon's definitely the worst one in the fun group, but he's got his Falcon Punch. And he does have some sweet spots on his moves, but his neutral air, I don't like his neutral air. It's nothing in comparison to like Ganondorf's neutral air. It's surprisingly good. And then, yeah, I'm sorry, he's not good enough to really play. But you can have fun with him, which is why he's there. But you know what? I'm going to sneak him down here for right now. Sorry. Olimar. Olimar wasn't supposed to be alone. Okay, well, Olimar is socially unacceptable. That's why he's here. He's doing pretty decent at tournaments. But he's pretty hard. He's pretty dang hard to play because you kind of have to pay attention to his Pikmin that he has on him. If you're trying to come back off the stage and you up B, like you use your recovery move, his his weighty Pikmin are going to weigh you down. You got to get used to like throwing them out, and then all of his attacks are unique to the Pikmin. Well, most of them are. So yeah, he's a little tough, and he plays really campy. And he's very annoying. So your friends are going to have... I said this in the other video. He's really annoying. And your friends are not going to like you if you play him a lot. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry. He's just not... In my circles, he's not accepted, and people bad... It's just not... Did I get my point across? You know what? If I don't get my point across correctly, I have to refer you to my other video. Because I gotta wrap this up. I definitely have to wrap this up. Pichu, I already mentioned Pichu. Sheik has crazy combos. They're not overly difficult, but the thing with Sheik is that it doesn't do enough damage. And yes, you can go off the stage and you can stop people from getting back up on the stage, but that's something you do have to learn. She's at the top of the no section. You really shouldn't play Sheik. Really, you shouldn't. I loved Sheik back in the day, but like, she needs a buff. If she gets a buff, she'll go higher. Pac-Man, some people can find Pac-Man fun, but some people find Pac-Man just like annoying to even play. There is a little bit of footage you can see on Pac-Man. The way you're supposed to play Pac-Man apparently is to use the fire hydrant and then cycle through your projectile attack and use the right one at the right time. Using him really well is just way too hard. You'll probably just find yourself spamming his forward B move more often than not. Is it B or is it? Yeah, it's forward B. And that's pretty much all you're going to be using on him, and that gets really stale, especially after your enemy starts knowing how to react. Game & Watch isn't strong enough, but if you're going to play Game & Watch, just realize I guess his down smash attack is actually pretty good. So just keep that in mind. Rosalina was someone I played a lot in the previous game, but her Luma doesn't react the same way that Luma used to, and Luma just seems to be a little dumber this time. I do sometimes get surprised by Luma here and there when my enemies use them, but it doesn't weigh out the negatives. There's just too many negatives when it comes to Rosalina. Wii Fit Trainer has 2 awkward hitboxes. Learning Wii Fit Trainer can be a little too tough for a lot of players, and I wouldn't go with it. There is one person out there who's trying to main Wii Fit Trainer, or it has been maining Wii Fit Trainer, like to a decent success. But yeah, that's up to you. That's really up to you. Wario has some combo games and is doing really well in tournaments, but they're hard to pull off. There's a lot of things you do have to learn. You have to learn spacing. Kind of like the in and out of like Jigglepuff a little bit here and there too, but he's just too hard. And single hits in the air are they're just so weak. They're weak in like comparison to Yoshi. I was trying to compare to Yoshi. Yoshi's single hits in the air are way stronger than Wario's. So he doesn't pay the dividends until way in the future. Just way in the future. It's just too rough to play Wario. Villager can be... Okay, so that's the thing. Villager was in the Olimar section because he spams his side B and spams his slingshot. So it can make him pretty strong, but he's so annoying to fight against. And I said really strong, but it's really not that strong. He's really not that strong. Enemies... I think that enemies do get used to him. And it's not like it's super hard to get used to him. It's just different, but they will... Like, people will get used to dealing with, like, maybe Samus projectiles in a few matches, whereas, like, Villager might take more than a few matches, but they will get used to Villager, and he'll fall off really hard. If you're going to play him, just spam the side B, and then, I guess, every once in a while throw a bowling ball off the map. And that makes him okay and fun to play, but he's kind of stale in the aerial moves, whereas like Bowser Jr. has like really fun aerial moves that maybe not as good in certain circumstances like Villager, but at least it's fun, you know? At least it's fun. If you like Villager, go for it. Same thing with Isabelle, but she's more campy. She's more campy because she has the mine move instead of like the side B move. And it works. She's really strong against very particular characters who have to get in on you. But I think that people learn how to play against Isabelle a lot faster than like the other two, right? To learn to fight against Olimar and Villager, it's just a lot harder to do. But, you know, once they learn how to deal with you, Isabelle really does fall off. She really hard falls off. So that's why, and she's in this section because she's so annoying, but you know what? She can just be placed near the bottom of this, you know? Yeah, I'm putting her here because at least, like you see, there are tools for Wii Fit Trainer, but again, they're in the no section. You just shouldn't play them. Ice Climbers, no, too hard, not rewarding enough. The B special moves are too bad, and yeah, they're just bad, especially when Nana's gone. Kirby, yeah, I wouldn't put Kirby at the very bottom of it. Probably put Kirby around here, somewhere around there. This section I don't really care on that aspect of things, but I guess you'll spam his down B move a lot, and you'll happen to get some kills that way, and you can kind of like juke some people with it, sort of. Yeah, he's just not very strong. He's just not strong. He doesn't have like the horizontal movement that like Jigglypuff has, so he's down here. Now the not applicables for people who are like Echo characters or people that I don't have enough information on. But people like Toon Link and Mario, they have their counterparts, Dr. Mario, Luigi, Link, and Young Link. You should be playing their counterparts first, and after that, maybe you'll move into these guys if you like them more. Toon Link, I think, is a little bit too different to say that 100%, but play him once and then see if you like his up smash and forward smash and the things that make him a little bit different from the other characters. Oh man, I'm almost at the end of it, and the video ended up being too long. Maybe I'll make a third video and try this again. We'll see. Maybe. I don't know about that. That may be a bit obsessive, but I'm having fun. I'm having fun doing this. Diddy Kong, not enough information. Pokemon, obviously there's no point in doing Pokemon because you're just playing Pokemon Trainer. And Pit, yeah, I don't have enough information. We'll just go with that. Diddy Kong and Pit are the two that I don't have enough information on, I think. And then the others are mostly like Echo characters. Yeah. Plus, no one really cares about Pit. Sorry if that makes you feel bad, but like I'm trying to be honest. Yeah, okay. I'll end on that note. Thanks for watching, and I'll add the timestamps in a little bit later, like not right off the bat. Okay.